Ba
Dun,
ba
dun,
ba
dun, dun, dun,
ba ba
dun,
ba
dun, dun,
ba
dun.
ba.
Kilted balls.
Bars.
I
Woohoo!
know. I went back to the old smoke on the water right there.
Nice. I was channeling
Man,
my inner Jack Black there.
we have
Anyone who's
not
seen.
shot an episode for a while, people. So sorry if you've missed us, but Kilted Balls is back. We had Thanksgiving. I
Yes,
assume, Kilted, that yours was terrific and super, super awesome.
I had an awesome Thanksgiving. I mean, we had our quick recording on Thanksgiving, which was nice, and everyone who listened to that, thank you. And yeah, it was awesome. I had a great Thanksgiving, a great Thanksgiving weekend. Did a little bit of shopping, so
Nice.
kind of getting some of that out of the way. Although I was supposed to go with a couple friends. They were going to the down to Atlanta to a airsoft place and getting guns and some accessories and stuff, and then playing
Ooh.
inside. And I was planning on going. I was all excited, and then I realized that I had to ship orders on Friday. Friday is not a national holiday,
Friday is not a national holiday,
and
not
I'm
at all.
glad I noticed, because I would have had a ton of orders that were not shipped on time, and I would have gotten in trouble. So,
I'm
how
glad
about
you
you?
figured it out.
How about
Yeah,
you?
so it was all great. The big news for me is I've got all 24,
Awesome!
which I know you got a lot
Congratulations!
more, but I was fighting with Barnes and Noble for mine. So yeah, I got the Gary V new book. Um, I've read the prologue
Nice,
or the intro or whatever it's called.
hmm
And so far, good. So far, I'm
nice.
enjoying it, but
hmm
I've been too busy, too tired to actually really go into it, which is mildly funny because a book like this probably is going to take me like an hour. So it's not
hmm
like I need a lot of time.
Yeah.
Um, and my wife said she flipped through it and she was laughing because she said the actual book part of it, she said is only half of that.
Oh wow.
So she's like, it's not like all that. And I go, well, it sounds like it's still super interesting. And she's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm super
So
excited for it. I got all mine started coming in this weekend. I haven't started reading it yet, but I did download the audiobook today. I was actually gonna
so
listen to
you bought the
that.
audiobook too?
Heck yeah. Gary's reading to me.
That's
How could
true.
you
He
mess
said he
up
goes a
having
little
Gary
off script.
actually reading to you? Yeah, I love it when the authors do the reading, because they do tend to go off script and
That's what he
go in
said.
depth a little bit.
He's like, I jump off script on this. It's going to be awesome. Speaking about Gary V's book and Gary V in general, we all know I sold my bat and I almost bought back in because the floor was dropping. And one of the things that, I was like, no, I'm not buying back in because we have to follow the plan, right? So I have a plan,
Yep.
I'm following the plan. But it's interesting because our buddy Jason, who, yes, Jason, we still need to interview you, was talking
Yes.
today and he was wanting to buy because one of the V friends that he really likes came up and it's low. And so he's like,
hmm
oh, I need to buy it. And so he was dealing with the same issue, but then he was like, he goes, I don't know if it's gonna keep going up. I think I need to follow the plan. And I'm
hmm
like, I think that's smart,
We've
right?
all talked about that and what we're doing and just the ideas of what's going on and what's happening. So it's a crazy time. And hopefully some of our listeners, I mean, whether you've learned something or if you're in some of this same journey, whether you're holding strong or you're a paper hands or anywhere in between, it's all about what's going on with you and what's going to be best for yourself and for your family. I mean,
Right.
that's really what a lot of this comes down to. And for someone to give someone a hard time, like, oh, you sold that, blah blah blah, that's silly, or whatever, fight either
Right.
way. So yeah, because even, I mean, I have my V friends that I love. I put them on my body, and four of them, when I bought them, I planned on selling once we started finding out more about VCon. So
Right. I remember that.
same position, like, okay, what am I going to do with those four? As far as, I mean, right now it's pretty close to, you know, it's, yeah, quadrupling my money that I put in, which isn't bad.
4x is not bad. 4x is not bad at all. What is the floor? Do you know off the top of your head?
I'm not sure the floor on the very, I think there's one at 10 something, but there's a couple right at 12.
I'm jumping right now
Like
to look
right
at
in that
VFriends.
range.
So I'm on the VFriends on OpenSea right now, and the floor for everything is 8.48.
Yeah,
A
that's
sensitive
for the
centipede.
cores. Yep.
Yeah, for the cores. And by the way, mine that I sold would be number 11 right now. So mine has never been on the floor since I sold it. So I sold it for higher than a normal core. And
Mhm.
I think you can't be sad about a sale like that, especially
Yeah.
now that we are, what, 2-3 weeks out from when I sold it and we still haven't hit. That price doesn't hit the floor. I think I could still buy in right now and make a profit. And that's been the case for 2 weeks, which means the plan is actually correct, right?
Yes. Yes. So the plan that you had, although it's funny because today, yeah, I guess because I was talking to Gene about this. I think today I would have to say I was day trading today. I think it was the first time it really happened. Like I was watching the markets, some things were happening I wasn't really excited about. Okay,
Mhm.
so anyway, I mean, this is going to date well anyways because it's right after Thanksgiving. Anyone who knows, but
Yes.
everything's been red all weekend. Like I think
Super red.
I think it was the Omni Crown or whatever that update. This
Yeah.
things like that. So anyways, it started bouncing back, but through that whole time, my Chain Guardians token has been crazy. Like it's been green all the way through.
Oh,
Like
wow.
every single day, it's been going up, been going up, been going up. So I think that's either a 3 or 4x. I didn't put a ton into it, but I was super excited. Like, okay, it was one that I'd heard about. I try to have a couple tokens in the gaming space because I mean, just with Axie Infinity, you never know. That was one.
Right.
It was a small bet that I had. But anyways, so this morning I noticed that everything else is green and Chain Guardians is dropping. So I'm like, you know what? Why don't I take some profits out? Like it's been going really well. And there was another token that I have, the Infinity token, and it had dropped a little bit, but not as much as the Chain Guardians already dropped. And it's one that I haven't made as much yet, but it's a cross platform. Like that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to be able to make it so you can move your NFTs cross platform and things like that. Exactly what we were talking about today. But
I was
this
just going to say that sounds familiar.
so funny. This was this morning. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just on Uniswap swap my one tokens for the other. So we're in the 24. Where is my? So last I looked at it, I looked like I was brilliant. Let's see. So far today, Chain Guardians is down 17%,
17%
in the last 24. Infinity
my.
tokens only been down 8%. So I look brilliant there. I guess I could have
You
switched to
look
something that's
brilliant.
actually going up. But yeah, then this morning I'm listening YouTube, the Altcoin Daily, and they were talking about the Affinity token. So it's funny. I guess you can stake Polkadot and get some of it. So they're working with
Really?
that. So that's what I was telling you about earlier, why I want that ETH into that wallet, because I think I'm gonna stake some Polkadot and get some more Affinity token. For me, I think it's a 2-year stake though.
Speaking of the ETH in that wallet, right?
Mhm.
Here's the interesting part about that. When I sold my World of Women and I sold my BAT,
Mhm.
right? The Ethereum compared to US dollars has gone up by at least $4,000.
That's awesome. So total in your wallet.
So like if you look at my wallet hasn't changed, right?
Nope.
The dollar's been going up because that's exactly what the plan was, right? The plan was that the Ethereum will gain value faster than the NFT would gain value.
Yes.
Now, in reality, for the VFriend, it would have been the same. So the VFriend held its value of Ethereum
Yep.
right now. So it would have been the same, except I would have had to pay. No, it would have stayed the same. I don't know about World of Women. And as a side note, by the way, there is another bat, a rare for sale for 11.99.
I saw that bat this morning. I was looking at it.
I was like, oh, there's another bat here.
But have you seen Shiba?
But World of Women has dropped. So I think I sold my World of Women for a couple Ethereum, a little bit more maybe. And right now the floor of World of Women is 1.69. Now I didn't sell it at the floor either.
Yeah.
So both of those, I feel like I came out ahead because I didn't sell at the floor.
That's awesome.
But again, so they're worth more than the NFT is worth, which is that's the point, right? Like
that's
I
exactly what we were planning on doing.
Right. And I'm like, and I still think the V tokens are going to go down.
Yeah.
So I still think they're going to drop, especially as Ethereum goes up. And, we'll see. But I really want some Solana, but I haven't, like I said, I've been so busy.
It dropped down. I was thinking of you when it was extra low.
Oh my gosh. It was like 190 extra low. If I could kick you in the nuts, I would.
I mean, well, not that I had extra to put in there. I was busy doing my own stuff.
Right. That's the problem, right? Busy doing our own things. So interesting. We had, this doesn't mean a lot, but like Anarchy was supposed to be making some huge moves here by the end of the year.
Yes.
Some of them concerning us specifically. And I haven't heard news of that. Also, did you get your coffee yet?
I got it. I got email today said that it was shipped.
Okay.
You?
I went out and bought some good coffee today. I tend to drink a lot of coffee. And I bought some today and I was like, man, am I buying this? And then I'm going to get that tomorrow, but I haven't got an email that it's shipped. So.
Okay. Yes. I just got an email this evening or maybe this afternoon that mine had shipped. So super excited about that.
So the DAO for Lucky Manakee is contributing resources to make sure the decentralized NFT marketplace is going to be real.
Nice.
That's interesting. I wonder what they're going to do.
What is, are they working with a certain platform?
Exchange.io.
Okay.
Interesting. I wonder what they're doing.
I think once that happens, and you did say that earlier today, like when that happens, when everything starts going cross-platform, it's going to be crazy.
When things start, when you're able to move back and forth with ease, things are going to jump. And the big jump, Amy and I were talking about this last night or the night before. Like she has friends who have millions in crypto, millions, right? Nice. Like that's how confident her friends are. And I'm like, that's pretty awesome, right? Like that gives me more confidence. But, talking with some of my family members, I have bankers and stuff like that. They're like, the thing is with crypto is they're like, it's too slim still, right? And I said, that's actually one of the things. And so her and I were talking, what's going to happen to crypto when it starts getting accepted everywhere? Like what is going to change when Amazon accepts Bitcoin? Because not that its value should change, it will.
Yeah.
But it legitimizes the currency.
That's
People will think of it as a real currency when that happens. Right now, it's just play. Like they kept saying, you don't really have money, you have cryptocurrency. And I'm like, I can literally hit this button and turn it to dollars.
Yes.
Right now.
And I think a lot of people don't really understand that.
I'm like, right now I can go click and it's in my bank account. Now, I'm not doing that because I think it's still going to gain value. So
yeah, why do you want to sit? I mean, you could switch it back to your money market accounts and go with point percent.
Right. We were talking before, we have a whole bunch of CDs. We've had CDs forever, right? And they probably make 1 or 2%.
Yeah.
But I'm like, seriously, what a waste. That's what I said. I'm like, what a waste. When we're looking at 2x in our money right now without doing anything at all. And we're comparing that to 2% over 5 years.
Yeah. Last night, playing D&D with Matt. I was like, Matt, look at your ETH is up. Your ETH is up 10%. He's like, that's just today, because he bought like at 4,000. So
Yeah.
he's like, I can't look at that every day. I was like, I'll let you know when it hits 15. He's like, no, tell me when it hits 10.
When they were talking to me, they were talking about like my Ethereum and stuff, you know, at Thanksgiving, it was a big topic. And they're like, so I'm like, let me put it to you guys this way. I told Amy I would double my money within a month. I go, without doing any work, no day trading, no cheating.
Yeah.
Just putting it there and letting it sit with Ethereum. And they're like, did you? And I'm like, no. I go, I didn't. I go, it only went up 50%. And my wife is sitting there and she goes, in a month.
Yeah.
And I go, she thinks it's going to double by the new year. I go, so we left it in there. I go, but I go, tell me which of your investments. I go, I don't care which mutual fund you want to talk about. You're the banker. Tell me which one made 50% last month.
Yeah.
I go, I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with that.
Yeah. But you have to be okay with it. We were talking today. This weekend, the market dropped 20%. Like,
and seriously, didn't even bother me at all.
I didn't even think twice.
Do you want to know what bothered me? So you're right. Everything was red this weekend. It was the holiday weekend. FYI, that happens on holiday weekends all the time. Happens to stock markets too. They have bad holiday weekends because nobody's buying and selling on the holiday. And if you're selling on the holiday, your ass needs to get out and someone's going to buy at low. So that's normal.
Yeah.
But I was so upset because I didn't feel like I could get away with buying more. I'm like, everything's on sale. I'm like, it's Black Friday. Everything's on sale.
I agree. My condo is supposed to closing is Monday, so I'm hoping that everything stays low till then.
Like Bitcoin dropped into the 50s. You're looking at 2x in it. 2x in Bitcoin, the daddy. I'm like, why would you? Now, here is the bad part about crypto. You ready? Here's my big negative. I heard a speaker once, and I'm sure you have too. And I can't remember which speaker this was. So if you can remember the name, we'll give a shout out here. But the speaker said, when you want to buy something, doesn't matter what it is. Let's say you need a new truck for your house, right? Whatever. You want a new TV. He said, never pull money from like your savings. Whatever you want new, go get residual income to pay for that item. He goes, so let's say you want a truck and the truck is $500 a month. He goes, go buy a rental that will give you $500 cash a month, because the truck will be paid off in 5-6 years. You're still going to have the rental forever.
That makes sense.
And so he said, that's how you get wealthy. Always use residual to buy whatever. Right? Makes sense? So my daughter and I have been talking about getting a truck forever, for a long time. And I'm having to run around on Monday. Like I said, the last couple of days were crazy busy, and I'm driving by a car dealership. And as I'm driving by, there's 2 or 3 trucks, decent prices. I'm like, man, if I was smart, I would get something that had a residual income that would pay the payment on that truck and just get it.
Do you have anything like that?
And this is the problem with crypto. I have something that does that. And you know what I'm not going to do? Waste it on a truck.
No.
I'm going to keep putting my money into crypto and putting it into crypto and putting it into crypto until winter hits. And I'm not talking about like the snow outside.
No, you're exactly right. I took the money that from the van that I sold and I put it in crypto. And actually I didn't say this because I did that. Did I do that after Thanksgiving? Did I just tell you, or did we talk about it on here?
I don't remember. ETH. We can repeat.
I had my money from my van all in ETH.
Yes.
And I had a feeling. So I switched it, and I remember what I switched it to now. I'd have to look it up. But I switched it to let me look. I'll remember if I look. Oh, actually, I bought more Cardano because Cardano was at $1.50. So I'm like, okay, Cardano going to 3 before ETH goes to 9. I'm pretty confident of that, just in general. And
Yes.
then I forget what the other one I bought was. I think Algorand or maybe Loopring. I don't remember, one of those two. But anyways, I took that and I just split it down the middle and I put it into the two. And so yeah, I'm gonna see what happens with that. We'll see.
Has it made money yet?
I don't think so, because it would have been before everything started going red.
Oh, okay. So you got to
But-
wait for it to go back up.
But I do have some exciting news. I'm super excited.
Yeah, tell us.
So most of the time Gina drives the Tesla
Okay.
because I don't want to drive back and forth and put all the miles on it, doing orders
Sure.
and everything. So
Right.
I got the Kia to drive back and forth. It's a lease. And I really wanted a Jeep. Like I really, really wanted a Jeep. And I saw this sweet Jeep that was for sale. It was used and everything. So, not losing, and Jeeps hold their value. So
Yes.
in my mind, I'm like, if I get this really cool Jeep while I'm waiting for the Cybertruck, then I'll be able to sell it and still be okay. So I'm talking with Tristan. He's getting ready to drive. I'm like, Tristan, I think that I'm going to have you drive the Kia. I'm going to get a Jeep. So everyone's happy. Because right now Tristan has an old beater Honda, old Honda Civic. So I decided I'm not buying the Jeep, but I think I'm going to drive the Honda Civic around for a few months. Just live humbly, because I don't want to spend, going back to your part of the story, I don't want to cash out my ETH
Right.
buy anything.
No. That totally took a turn I wasn't prepared for.
Yeah, I had to circle it back around. There was a
I
reason
thought for
to tell that
sure you
story.
were saying, yep, so I bought a Jeep. And I'm like, you're a dummy, because I'll tell you what a 16-year-old will do to a new car. It won't be a new
Accord.
car.
Oh, it's a Honda Accord. It's a
Right.
lease. It's a lease.
Yeah.
So yeah, I said Civic. I just got a text message that it's an Accord. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. Although, I mean, we joke about Lambo money,
Yeah.
and I think the Lambos are cool, but I did see a Ghost this weekend. We were at the mall, and I think I like the Ghost a ton more. And you can fit
Yeah.
car seats in there and stuff. So
You know me, if I'm getting something nice, it's going to be a truck.
yeah. So,
I am who
don't
I
know.
am. You
But
can't,
then
take the farmer out.
That's true. I did hear. I read some articles. They do an interview for you that not anyone can just buy a Ghost. You have to pass a little test and everything
Really?
before, but they even sell it to you. So I don't know if I have that kind
Wow.
of clout. But we'll
What kind
see.
of test do they give you?
I don't know. Well, they don't just want anyone driving around a Rolls Royce, apparently. So it just.
I thought if you had the money, you were good to go.
No, it says it doesn't do it like that. They check your social standings and all that stuff.
They make sure that you're eating Grey Poupon and not like Meyer
I
mac and
know.
cheese.
Dang it. It's funny. It's funny to just to think about. I don't think
That
it's going to
is.
get high enough for that, but never hurts. Never hurts to just check it out.
Right. Well, and that's why Amy and I were talking about like how high will Big go? Because Kilted has said before that maybe it'll go as high as 500. And she's like, do you really think it would? And I'm like, I don't know. I literally don't know. I know it's a limited supply. I go, but so is gold. And gold never went to the moon. Right? Gold is still the
if you
price.
held gold for the last 20 years, you have broken even approximately.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And it's a limited supply, right?
I think it's different though, but gold is still, there's still powers that be that keep it limited. Because
But
really,
I'm saying it really is limited.
is it?
Yeah, there's only so much gold that exists, period.
In the universe or on the earth?
On the earth.
Okay. So if
there is a limit in the universe as well, but the number of gold in the universe is a lot because the universe is, more or less infinite by human standards. So in the universe, there's tremendous amounts of gold. On Earth, there's a really small finite amount of
Yeah.
gold.
So like a meteor that's made of gold crashing into the earth and screwing everything up is pretty far-fetched.
Pretty far-fetched. Could
Yeah,
happen.
could happen. But you're right.
But
The gold is finite. And I don't know. I mean, a guy today I was listening to, I forget who it was, but he was saying he's a believer of the extended runs. So he
Yeah.
doesn't think the bull run is going to end till late 2022. He thinks it's going to be, I think he said 135 to 1. No, he said 210 for Bitcoin, and he said 5 years, easy $500,000 per Bitcoin.
Well, and and maybe it does. That's what I'm saying. I really have no knowledge of how that is going to work, because it's all surreal what people base it on, right?
Yeah.
So it's all, and this is, my brother said this too. He goes, what you've got is a very limited number of humans. He didn't say humans, that's my words, who are putting the value on Bitcoin, on NFTs, on crypto. He goes, VeeFriends only have value, and we got in an argument, mild. He goes, VeeFriends only have value because VeeFriends say they have value. And I go, well, there's people who want to be VeeFriends who also, he goes, right. He goes, so put all those people together, they're the people determining that it has value. He goes, to me, VeeFriends have no value whatsoever. And I'm like, granted. I go, but that's the same for anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything is the people who want it are what gives it value. You don't want a house in New York City. It has no value to you. Somebody in New York City has a lot of value to them.
Yep.
And so, like, we were kind of getting a weird, family gets in weird arguments with people.
Yeah.
So Chilton knows that. But, that was something. And I'm like, who knows how much Bitcoin will go? Because the limited supply doesn't matter if people are spending it, because that means there's always a supply. Right now, nobody's spending Bitcoin except for the El Salvadorians.
Yes, they are.
But nobody else is, and even them, they're spending money, but it's all going back, into El Salvador's currency.
El Salvador did buy more Bitcoin during the dump.
Yeah.
Well,
because they need to control that. But so your Bitcoin is finite, but the finite doesn't matter if you're spending it, because there's always more Bitcoin out there because you're spending it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that was one of the arguments with ETH right now too, because there's tons of Ethereum being burnt.
Yes.
But not a lot of people are spending it because people are buying their NFTs and then it's sitting there.
Right.
All that ETH that's in Punks, all that ETH that's in Apes, I mean, even VeeFriends.
Yes.
All the ETH that's there is not going anywhere. A very small little bit of it.
It's just sitting there chilling, and money has to move. And if money doesn't move, it doesn't have value.
Yeah.
That's something that people forget about. Like, if your mattress is full of dollars, that really has no value because you're not spending it.
No.
It only has value. It's like a taxable event, right? It only has value when you spend the money. Then it has value. Then my day of work is worth a monthly payment on a truck, right?
Yeah.
Like, it instantly has that value. Until I spend it, everybody just agrees it has value. Right?
I mean, it's the same with the US dollar.
That's all agree
that that's worth $1.
Yes.
But yeah, I would love to have been there, especially with that group obviously your family, I love them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It was super interesting because they weren't like July 4th, right? Like, it's a different world of discussion. Because first off, they may not know about crypto, or they may not know about NFTs, or they may not know, but like, they know economics, they know banking, they know, right? Like, they know that stuff. And so when you say, Bitcoin doing this or that, they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
yeah. It was one of the
So
it
they
was
weren't
some.
poo-pooing it.
Mm-mm.
They were saying things like, in order for this to be legitimized, you need to open up the market and it needs to be
Mhm.
this and this. And what's the value in Ethereum? Like, what's different? You know, and I'm like talking about, and they're like, we can see that has value, but it can't have value if you're in this and this, you have this and this. So notice that's a totally different discussion
Yes.
than we had July 4th around the campfire, where people are like, well, that's dumb. It's just a computer doing work. It uses too much energy. Literally, never did anybody at that table, and it's my family, so there's like 20
Mhm.
people sitting there talking. Never did anybody go, well, that's really bad for the environment.
Mhm.
Like maybe like that wasn't the conversation. The conversation was, if it needs to have value, these things need to be legitimized,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
No, you're
totally
exactly right.
different kind of a world.
Mhm. That was
Interesting.
one of the. I mean, of course, I had heard of Bitcoin. There's a guy that I would see at shows. I remember him talking about it. I've talked about this before, but besides that, like only a little bit here and there. Well, I take that back. I guess the first time I heard about it was your kids reminding it. Then the guy was talking about it at shows. He's like, "Listen, you need to buy any extra money you have." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Um, and then I remember Gary talking about it, but he was saying he thought it could only get so high because the nations weren't going to allow it. Like, how is China? How is Russia? How are these giant nations going to allow it? And it was one of the things that kind of made me pull back, and I wasn't pushing to get more of it.
Right. So here's the thing, new terms I've learned, right? So talking
Mhm.
with all of these bankers about
Mhm.
this, they didn't say this. So this wasn't part of their topic, but this
Mhm.
goes into their topic. It's the sovereign currencies.
Mhm.
So there's like 6, I think, sovereign currencies in the world, right?
Mhm.
The US is one of them.
Okay.
And if you're a sovereign currency, you're in complete control. In other words, the US has deficit.
Mhm.
It's made up, because anytime they want to end the deficit, they can literally write a check to themselves for the deficit, and the deficit disappears,
Okay.
right? So
Mhm.
the deficit is almost like mythical because they own the currency, which is
Yeah.
what you've talked about before. They
Mhm.
can literally just print more money and
Yeah.
the deficit goes away. So
Mhm.
that's true with all the sovereign countries. And that's what happened to Greece with the euro. Greece had a sovereign currency. They went to the euro. Now they have to have a real balanced budget. You can't have a deficit. And all
When
of a
it's not
sudden,
your money.
it's not your money anymore. And all of a sudden, the euro is like, yo, you need to have the money to back this. And Greece is like, well, we don't have that. We have a deficit. They're like, no, you don't. No, you don't have a deficit. And Greece's economy crashed
Yeah.
because they had to do that. So a good example here is Michigan has to balance their budget.
Mhm.
North Carolina has to balance their budget. Charleston has to balance their budget.
Mhm.
The US, they don't have to. They just add to the deficit
Mhm.
because it's their currency. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's why the deficit just continues to go up and up and up, because in reality, it's all fake.
Yeah.
And that's so now put yourself in the US,
Well,
which
it
is
made when he said it, it made sense, and that
right.
was, and I don't remember that would have been either late last year or early this year when I heard that,
Mhm.
and it was just like, okay, this makes sense, because he was a lot of people were talking. Jason was talking about it. He was getting into it a little bit
Yeah,
with stocks. He was looking at some of the crypto as well. I had looked at punks. I had no idea how to get them, but I wish I would
right.
know. So it's just interesting. Like,
Well, and it doesn't mean there isn't money to be made.
yes,
Like you and I know that. It doesn't
that
just
doesn't
because
change
something
anything.
isn't right. Like, hey, candy isn't a form of currency. Guess what? I'm able to sell it. It has value. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a currency. All that has happened is somebody else has to think it has value.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether the US ever adopts Bitcoin. That's
Hmm.
immaterial.
Yeah.
And the US, honestly, they never can, because then the deficit becomes real.
Yeah.
Same reason why they got off the gold standard,
Yeah.
because then it's real.
Yep. No, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So, hey, you never know what's going to happen, and I think that the decentralized aspect of a lot of this stuff, I think it's really cool. I like that, and which is why I have some of the coins that I have. I think that or some of the games and things like that that can happen. Like being somebody who does the pay to play, who buys the skins and things like that, to think that they're working on, like, people are working on stuff where you get the NFT, where when I'm done playing, because I do get bored, I play games, I'll go hot and heavy for a couple months and then
right.
I'm just done.
Yeah.
But if I could take that and sell that at the end and or move it to another game or whatever, I think that's super cool.
It's super cool, right? All of that kind of stuff is neat. The new burn mechanisms they're coming out with,
Mhm.
there's like a lot of really cool things coming through with this stuff. And again, we're super new. So all
Yes.
of this is new, which is why we can still make money. But
Hmm.
I don't foresee something like Bitcoin hitting 500. And Amy said that to me. She goes, "Do you really think it'd get there?" And I'm like, "No." And she goes, "See?" And I'm like, "I never thought Bitcoin would hit $30,000."
Yeah.
I go, "Remember, I was in when it was $100. If I had any thoughts at all that Bitcoin would hit $30,000, you don't think I would have bought it at 100?
Hmm.
I would have. I clearly didn't believe it would. When it was at $1,700, I didn't buy it again,
Hmm.
right? When my kids were mining, I think they were mining with an S7,
Hmm.
right? You don't see me with a fat ass wallet full of Bitcoin. And so I'm like, I can sit here and say, yeah, I don't think it's going to 500,000, but it's really important to understand I have been wrong every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time. So you can't say, well, what do you think? I'm wrong. Like I'm
Hmm.
wrong every time.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to hit 100. I'm fairly confident. Why do I think it's going to hit 100? I think it's getting 100 because it's still new.
Yeah.
Right. So like I would bet in that family of bankers, none of them have crypto. Just going to go out on a limb. They might, but I'm going to say right now, they probably don't.
Hmm.
Okay. Because of all those conversations, they're going to sit there and go, probably be good to at least put 1,000 into it. I
Hmm.
mean, some of them have a big enough bankroll that they're probably like, I should probably buy 1 or 2 Bitcoins.
Hmm.
That's more people in the space.
Yeah.
And that limits the supply that exists right now.
Hmm.
And so all of a sudden the value jumps. And so hitting something like 100, yeah, because we're so new, all those people are going to get in. But I think it's going to top out. Let me rephrase this. I think it's going to top out for 2 reasons,
Hmm.
right? Reason one, it actually has no value except to hold your dollars
Yes.
because you can't buy stuff with it. So it only has value to hold your money. It's a bank,
Hmm.
a better bank than we've got, but
Yep.
still just a bank. It's just going to hold my dollar. That's one. Second, those dollars we know are losing money.
Hmm.
So in order for it to get to 500,000, that means my dollar is worth 5 times less, right?
Yeah.
So my dollar isn't worth as much anymore. In other words, inflation went through the roof
Yeah.
because that means I can't buy as much with my dollar as I could before.
Hmm.
And that's going to screw everything up. So I think it's not going to hit 500 because it would collapse the world's economy. The world is not going to allow the economy to collapse,
I see.
right?
Yeah.
They'll
I think
find a
that was
way,
I think that's similar to Gary's argument why it wouldn't like get crazy, crazy high.
which doesn't mean it
Remember?
won't go up now. And the
Yeah.
same arguments I'm sure they had with the internet. We can't have the
Hmm.
internet because there will be free knowledge for everybody and all the governments will fall.
Hmm.
No, they found ways to control the information on the internet.
Yeah.
If they didn't find ways to do it, we wouldn't have the dark web.
Yeah.
You got to find ways to get the information out around the government because
Hmm.
they're stopping it, right?
Hmm.
So that's crazy interesting. And
Yeah.
I think we're not even going to recognize the space in 10 to 20 years.
No, just like the internet.
Well, and here's what I would like. I would like in 10 to 20 years, right? Kids are getting old by then, right? We're going to be, maybe we'll be old by then. I don't know. It's hard to say. We're semi-immortal, it seems like. But so we get up there, I want them to look at us and go, man, they made smart decision. When we kill them up, we're going to be set for life. Because they got into this on the ground floor.
Yeah.
Right.
And we missed the ground. We missed the, I mean, there's OGs with even more.
There are OGs. Yeah.
Who are paying attention 4 years ago.
There's people who have lost more money than we've dreamed of.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're still super with all this stuff. You don't know, as far as even the blockchain, where people are, let's not even talk about the NFTs as we know it now. The artwork, your Twitter profile picture, but the houses, instead of a title company, all that stuff, just anything like that. Like, who's gonna win? You don't know if it's Ethereum or ADA or Polygon or.
We've talked about this before, you and I. But imagine a group coming forward, some whale, right? And they say, here's the deal with the NFT. It's written into the contract. It's written into the blockchain. This NFT is always worth a minimum of $1,000. Doesn't matter what Ethereum does. Doesn't matter what Polygon does. You can burn it anytime you want for $1,000. All of a sudden, that becomes a savings.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, if it's guaranteed, right? If it becomes a guaranteed asset, you're like, why wouldn't I put my money in that? It'd be a savings bond.
Yeah, basically.
Except it's a savings bond you get to play with. Right?
Yeah.
And so you buy it. I don't know why we don't do this. People who are listening, this is a great freaking idea. I have so many stupid ideas. You guys don't get to hear them all. Chair gets to hear all of them, right? But this is a great idea. Make an NFT. Sell it for 0.05 Ethereum. Guarantee it for $1,000. Guarantee it. And sell those suckers. And if somebody wants to turn around right then and be like, yeah, I want to burn it, you just got to have the capital to burn it. But how much value are all the rest going to get when somebody is like, yeah, I just burned it, and he cashed it out? Similar to what you and I said, you make the floor be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
You say, we're going to keep the floor at this amount. All of a sudden that becomes a savings plan.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm going to put my money in there because Ethereum's going up. But if Ethereum goes down, I know I'm still safe.
Yeah.
Right. And, or you say, maybe I can sell this and double my money, but worst case scenario, I know I'm going to get at least 1,000 out, and I bought it 500. I know right now I'm going to make $500 on it. Like that you could see that becoming a bank really fast.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you on the back end, you have the money that's guaranteed, but you're investing that money.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You're being the mutual fund, you're being the mortgager, and you're making money on it and saying, yep, there we go. We're making money.
Yeah, exactly.
So similar to those DAOs that are purchasing apartment complexes. So
yeah.
Anyway, people, we've been going for almost an hour here. We probably
has it been that long?
Oh my gosh, time flies when we're having a good time.
Yes, it's awesome.
So thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We hope you got something out of this episode and us rambling on about the future of crypto. And stick with us for more episodes. We'll be around. This is Ballbuster signing off.
Kilter Dragon Jer, love you all.